Oh, hey, Jamie, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. What's
Wow.
up, dude? I got all dressed up and everything for you because now these things are doing more interviews like this, so I like have to look respectable.
Styling and profiling, I think that's the term you use.
Hell yeah, man.
Exactly. Well, congratulations on your 50th birthday, which coincided with a stand-up special.
Thank
How
you.
long in advance of the birthday did you know that you were going to have a stand-up special for your 50th birthday?
2 weeks, maybe. We had it in the can. We were trying to figure out when to release it. We got the deal with Tubi. They were like, "We're in," and then they really liked the birthday angle. And so it was like my 50th. I have this special. We're in the middle of a pandemic. There's a lot going on, so we thought, well, it's a good time to do it.
Yeah.
Memorial Day.
The material on your stand-up special is very timely and very current, yet at the same time it's timeless. Like you're talking about the technology today, yet you're also talking about a universal theme like being single late in your life and all that. But how long had you been workshopping the material for?
Some of it goes back almost 7 years. Some of it is like 3 years, and some of it is like a year. But like, or whatever it was when I shot it. But like, I had about 33 minutes that I cut out.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe I have enough for another special right now. Like I'm almost ready to shoot that. But again, some of it is a little bit more different now because we've shifted so much with this pandemic that I don't know like how I can talk about it because it's not as relevant as what's happening at the moment. So, but there's a few years.
And what led you to decide to film it in Huntington Beach, of all places, on the tour?
There's no club. That's like the club there in Huntington Beach. And Huntington Beach is, although I am not proud of them for marching out there with no masks. So, and I love Huntington Beach, but I didn't agree with that. The club is called the Rec Room, and it's an amazing club. And Hunter, a comedian who has really built the club out and made it artist friendly. It's not like a dinner theater. It's not like a place where you pop up and do comedy. It's a real comedy club. People go there. The club is the star. They go there to watch comedy, and they know whoever he brings in is going to deliver something. And Huntington Beach is so open-minded. They don't get offended at nothing. And it's like New Orleans. It's like, when you go to New Orleans, it's like New Orleans isn't really, it's really its own energy, and that's how Huntington Beach is. And so great.
Does your love of Huntington Beach have anything to do with it being Surf City, USA?
Look, I actually had a lot of good times in Huntington Beach when I was 9, when my family took me a trip out here, me and my family, and my dad had a friend there, so I spent about 3 weeks there, and then I wanted to move there ever since. But it's great. They have a good sense of humor. Beach cities usually do. So.
Well, I've been following your career for decades, of course, and you're doing it really well as a stand-up comic. But people first really learned about you as an actor, and then, of course, you along the way have written a book, you've produced films, you've written films. Was the plan all along, though, to be a stand-up comic primarily?
I think it's more like you get in where you fit in, like I didn't really have a grand plan. I wanted to be in the business. I loved Hollywood, and I loved the idea of being on TV. You know what I mean? That to me was so exciting. Like John Ritter was one of my idols, and Eddie Murphy was one of my idols. And I just felt like, how do I do what they do? So like, to me, I was like a mix between like, Jack Tripper and Gumby. You know what I mean? Like that's, with like the one-liners of like Rodney Dangerfield, but also like Joan Rivers' tenacity. I was like raised by those, and Joe Piscopo. And so I didn't know. And my heroes did both, you know what I mean? Like Rodney acted and did comedy. Eddie does that. So it was wherever, and then once I started getting successful, I just started doing it. And then comedy was very hard for a while, and acting was very hard, but acting took off first, and then comedy became easier, but I just had to get better at it.
You go along with the positive stereotype that all comedians can act. So you just mentioned that acting took off before the comedy, but did you ever take acting lessons or anything along those lines?
Yeah, more like a class. I took like an intensive for like a year and a half, where it's called for Meisner. You don't need to do it. There's a lot of people that haven't. There's a lot of people that do and never act or whatever. But to me, it was all about, I did it because I wanted to go into myself. So I took this great workshop for a year and a half, and it was all about learning how to like really read people and read their body behavior. And there was nothing really funny about it. And that's because I already had comedy. So that was my nighttime. I was doing anything I could to become better as a performer, whether it was acting, singing, dancing, lessons. I would do all that because I think that's what you got to be. You got to be a vehicle.
A multi-hyphenate, I think, is the other way that people call that.
Yeah. I'm not even a writer, but I took Robert McKee's intensive weekend course just to learn. I read Save the Cat. I think, if you got to do this business, you got to attack it. No one's going to hand you anything. So I try to learn all the angles of it.
Something I find specifically fascinating about your career, besides what we talked about, is that you're the only person that could really do a Malibu's Most Wanted, but then also stars Jerry Heller in another movie. Was that irony lost on you, or is that something you're proud of?
Wait, I think I know. Honestly, tell me why that's ironic, and then I'll see. I honestly might not know what you're saying, but I agree with you. But just tell me exactly what you mean by that.
Okay, I think that Malibu's Most Wanted holds up. It's still hilarious. And you basically play a parody of somebody who thinks that they're gangster, but they're not.
Yes, definitely.
Then in the case of Jerry Heller, he kind of thought he was gangster, but he wasn't. But at the same time, he was in the center of making gangster rap a mainstream household thing.
I know. That's so cool, actually. Malibus is about a guy that's dream is to be a rapper, and he really believes in what he's doing, and he's still, he never ever thought it was bad, and he just believed it, and he didn't realize that it was a dream that wasn't normal for him or for somebody who looked like him or came from his background.
Sure.
But the pureness of B-Rad is why I think people maybe like that character. And Jerry Heller, where B-Rad wasn't in legit surroundings, he was legit in his belief. Jerry Heller was actually gangster. I talked to a lot of people that worked with him before, and he was like a hardcore like music dude. He was like, I think he was from Ohio, and but he was one of the godfathers that, whether you like him or hate him, birthed hardcore West Coast hip hop. Jerry Heller. So yeah. That really is ironic now that I look at it. It's funny because not many people know it, but the ability to play two different types and tones, where one's more of a broad comedy, one's a more serious drama, is awesome.
Yeah. So again, this is another compliment here, because you watch Jamie Kennedy for decades and he's still doing it at a high level. Is there anything that you haven't done that you're still hoping to with your career?
I mean, I like to do something really meaty, I like to do a good role that is like, remember like George Clooney, like Out of Sight or something. I like to play something who's like a fast talking guy, that it's an adult, you know what I mean? I think I want to let people know I can be an adult. But also, I mean, I like to do I've been in some amazing movies. I like to be like a lead of like an amazing movie that is, I'd like to do something in the longs of the tones of like a Departed or one of those movies. I mean, Wolf of Wall Street, although Boiler Room is very good, but something like that is good. I've done a lot though. And probably direct. I wasn't dying to direct. The only reason I like to direct is because I kind of do it anyway. I see all the people just so much wasted time on sets, and it's like, directors, don't take this the wrong way, but a lot of you guys overthink it. The movies that you like are made by auteurs who already wrote it, are directing it and editing it in their heads, so they know what they want. The best movies I've ever worked on, people are like, okay, we got it. I'm like, hold on, dude, I know it. I got it. Move on. So I probably would like to do that, but it had to be something I'm passionate about.
Right. And of course, everyone is just at home for the time being. LA has more restrictions than we do here, to say
Where are
the
you at?
in New York, Long Island.
That's what's so crazy. You guys should have more restrictions.
Yeah, the people that from here that went down to Florida had the automatic 14-day quarantine. When was the last time that you were really out in a club? Was it mid-March?
March like 13th, I was in New York and I played the Stand, and that was packed, and I was like a little worried. Then the NBA got canceled, and I left that night or that day, next day, and then the Laugh Factory on like the 15th was the last time I did a club, and I was borderline wondering if I should do it, but it was cool. And then that's really much it. And then I hadn't seen people for a while, except I have, my assistant, and she helps me. But other than that, my friend came over for my birthday and barbecued and brought his sister, and I was like, dude, this is weird. And then I slowly, like, feral cat, like, he'd put food in the middle of the fucking yard. I'd pick some up and go over there and eat it and wave. So I'm hoping that was good, but he's barbecuing, so hopefully the virus doesn't like barbecue.
No, UV rays, supposedly that's what does the magic there. So 2 quick questions, and then you are a free man. And the first one is, because you've been holed up, have there been any TV shows or movie discoveries that you can recommend that you discovered from this quarantine?
I'm going to be basic in the sense that I've only watched what everyone else has watched. I started with Love Is Blind. I went through Tiger King, and obviously went through The Last Dance. I think I have something in my queue for Netflix with a documentary. I saw Don't Fuck with Cats before, but I've been so busy. I'm like redoing my website, and I'm getting all my content together because I think we're going to be virtual more than people realize. So I'm trying to get all my ducks in a row. So I've been pretty busy. But I think the next thing I have to tackle is Ozarks, because everyone's saying how amazing it is. And but no, I have to. I'm trying to give you some kind of jewel here of what to watch.
Well, when you get around to it, go through Brockmire. That was a show that a lot of people slept on.
Oh yeah, I've heard that. That's the one with Hank, right?
Hank Azaria, you said.
Yeah. I got to see that.
Well, you've given me so much to work with. So the closer, Jamie, and that's any last words for the kids?
Hey man, it's a crazy time. I just turned 50, and 50 is not the new 40. It's 50. Okay, my back hurts. But listen, watch Tubi, watch my special, Stoopid Smart. It's on Tubi, and it's free. You millennials, you don't like to pay for shit. Watch it.
Well, looking forward to hearing the next material that you got about the current pandemic and all that. But keep up the great work you're doing, Jamie.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you.
Take care, man.
Thank you, buddy.